Hello and welcome to Morning Call for Tuesday, the 26th of February 2019. I'm Fab from Hamburg. Good morning, how are you doing? Before we get into the tech news, coffee, very important. Oh, don't pour it on the keyboard instead of the cup, that wouldn't be good. I got some housekeeping to go through. Housekeeping, mint for pillow. First of all, I would like to thank my 92 followers. Hello. And 11 subscribers. Very much appreciated. The last of which is Umrish. So thanks for that. Yeah, pretty cool. Almost 100 followers. This is pretty awesome. And then I need to tell you that there will not be a show tomorrow on Wednesday because I have stuff I need to do tomorrow that can't be postponed, and I'll be back on Thursday, and just with a regular show. And with that, let's talk some tech news, because I guess that's what you... Oh, another thing. Twitch has informed me that my channel now supports low latency, and I turned it on, whatever that means. So maybe we have less stream delay. We'll figure it out. Jonathan MH says, testing consumer electronics for man, calling it now. I'm guessing you're talking about the male vibrator. I can confirm that I'm not testing that tomorrow. Let me put it this way. If I would be testing that kind of stuff, I would probably be streaming it. Like, you know, with a, like, you wouldn't see what's going on below, right? It would just be reaction. I mean, there's lots of Twitch channels that do that, so why not? But I'm not doing that. Anyway, with that, let's get into tech news. First of all, new ThinkPads. Since Cebit is no more, and I guess, I don't know, this is before Computech, I guess, so it looks like Mobile World Congress is now also for any announcement to do with like laptop computers. So Lenovo has announced that there are new business ThinkPads. The T490, the T490S, the T590, the X390, and the X390 Yoga, which a lot of these look like they're convertibles. Hello, Willie-eyed one-eye, who says, let me put it this way, if there's an odd hum tomorrow, we know it's not the low latency causing the issue. Well, since I'm not streaming tomorrow, it won't be tomorrow, but yes. Well, I would tell you about it if I was testing it on the show. Otherwise, you know, where'd be the fun? Also, I'd probably be very distracted. Yeah, so new ThinkPads, pretty cool. I like ThinkPads. I have a ThinkPad. You know, if you're running Linux, ThinkPad is always worth thinking about. And they haven't announced prices and specs, but yeah, there's lots of stuff. You can get Wi-Fi 6 in it. You can get LTE modems. 5G you can't get, but where would you use it anyway? Yeah. There's lots of stuff going on, lots of new ThinkPads, which is nice. Hello, Mike. Good morning. Then, following on from yesterday, we was talking about the HoloLens, which Microsoft was originally positioning as like a kind of a consumer device. It seems like Microsoft is more and more just like leaving the consumer market behind, maybe because the Xbox the only thing that works for them there, and everything else they tried, the Zune, like the phones, everything else like failed abysmally. Now the next step in this trend is the Kinect, which used to be a Xbox gaming accessory, so you could like gesture control games, but it was even shorter lived than the weird Wii things. So now the Kinect 2, or as they call it now, well, it's not the Kinect 2, but I kind of think of it as the Kinect 2. It's now called the Azure Kinect, and it's now for the military. Actually saying that, and it's for business. When they announced it, they were actually talking about installing them in hospitals, and then like if people stumble around and they're likely to fall, then it can alert doctors. So maximum spying. I mean, this thing is measures a room with, I think it uses ultraviolet light, ultra red sensors. Whatever. It kind of measures the room, and then you can track things. And it's also like part of the HoloLens 2 package, so it's like guess for tracking you, like for that hologram technology they have, where two people with a HoloLens can talk to each other, a bit like in Star Trek Discovery. By the way, in Discovery, I love that Pike finds it annoying and turned it off because it was really annoying. Anyway, so yeah, Microsoft does that. It just seems like Microsoft's leaving the consumer market behind, probably for the better. I mean, they still do gaming. I had no idea. I read yesterday that Obsidian, one of my the game studio I like really much, they're currently working on the Outer Wilds, which looks really great. They've been bought by Microsoft in November. I didn't even notice that. So Microsoft, still does gaming stuff, but that's about it. We were talking about these e-scooters that were throwing people off. For now, you are not allowed to use e-scooters in public in Germany because there aren't any, like our traffic laws are not ready to deal with them. Basically, they were sort of too fast for going on pedestrian ways and too slow to go on the road. They were thinking you need kind of license, the license you need for like little mopeds. But now it seems like the Ministry for the Traffic Ministry over here, the Bundesverkehrsministerium, has said yes. They haven't said nein. They've said ja. Scooters are coming. Maybe even this spring. And they have a rule where if the scooter has a handlebar, you can ride it on bicycle lanes. And the other ones on the pedestrian way, I guess, you're not allowed to ride them on the road, only if there's no bicycle lane. They're still working on this, on the details. You will not need a license. What you will need, because this is Germany, you will need insurance. And you will need an insurance sticker. And of course, if you don't have that, it's crime. Because this is Germany. We can't have uninsured things. We need order. So yeah, can't have that. If you run somebody over, or you're like reckless or whatever, that would be a felony, and we have this points system in Germany where Flensburg is a city north of here, has very much almost Denmark. They have the register, they have the national drive. We're calling it having points in Flensburg. If you get points, so this will affect if you have a driver's license, and you're recklessly riding around on scooters, on little e-scooters, then that will also affect your driver's license. Like they can take it from you if you get too many points. Willie eyed when he says, so it's just third party insurance. What it is in Germany, if you have a car, you have to have, by law, you have to have insurance. not for your own damage, but for damage to somebody else. So if you hit somebody, your insurance will pay that, and you must have that insurance. And this is the same thing, I guess. It's like if you have a little scooter or something. In Germany, they have like little license plates, like colorful license plates. They're not actual license plates. They're just the insurance plate. They prove to the police that you have insurance for this year, so that's why they're different colored. And I guess it's the same thing as a sticker. Yes, as Mike the Dane says, Ordnung muss sein! Especially in northern Germany, but Germany. Halifa says, will they require a helmet? No, they will not require a helmet. Just as bicycles currently in Germany do not require a helmet. Which, I guess the German state is, if you hurt yourself, that's your own problem. The insurance is to make sure that you do not hurt somebody else and then can't pay his hospital stay. Which is what the insurance is for. So yes, and we must have order. We must have order. Yeah, exactly. You only hurt yourself. That's the thing. The German state does not so much care about that. This will be interesting because, there's a big bicycle boom in Germany, especially in cities, not in rural areas, and I don't think the scooters will be a problem there. But in cities, and people are complaining there are not enough bicycle lanes, and the cities are built too much for cars. Then they have, in some cases, made the bicycle lanes wider, to which the pedestrians say, "No, we don't have any space," and this will only get worse. This will only get worse. Now we will have the scooters on the bicycle lanes. There'll be crashes. I foresee utter chaos. Will I need insurance if I apply for my German citizenship? Asked Will. No, but I don't know. You have to do a test. You have to do like it's not so much a language test. It's more like you have to understand it. So you have to speak enough German to understand. It's like they ask you things about Germany. I guess they probably ask you things about Hitler. And I'm pretty sure there'll be questions in there about insurance. Like, you are a German citizen. You want to go outside. What insurance would you like to have? And then if you answer no, you're just like, you don't get any points for that, probably. Yeah. The whole thing will be interesting. Jonathan says they have bike roads all over the place, and the cyclists want them to fuck off. I guess the e-scooters. Yeah. It's just, yeah. There'll be fights. It'll be the post-apocalypse. I'll be interested to watch that. I'm not quite sure. Like, I was in San Diego, and I was I saw all these scooters riding around in California, and I was like, who charges these things? There must be somebody driving around just picking them up and charging them, because I didn't see any people plugging them in anywhere. That'll be interesting. Anyway, I'll keep an eye on the scooter situation. In airplane news, a Amazon Prime jet has crashed in Texas. I didn't see anything on the news, like on major news sites about this, but I thought this was interesting. Boeing 737-375ER cargo plane, presumably full of iPhones or something. Flight number 5 Yankee 3591 has, as the register reports, is said to have entered an unexpected nosedive from around 6,000 feet while on a scheduled cargo run between Miami Airport and Houston George Bush International. So if you look at the flights on Flightradar 24, they took off in Miami, flew over Florida, flew over the Gulf of Mexico, and shortly before Houston, pretty much where Galveston Bay is, they just started descent, which looks like, that looks like it might have been the normal descent towards the airport, and then they just nosedived into Trinity Bay, and everybody on board, of course, died, because you do not survive something like that. Yeah, 2 bodies have been recovered. I think there were 3 people on board. The captain, the first officer, and a captain from another airline who was in the jump seat, which is kind of usual. I mean, this is airlines do this quite a lot. You know, they need to get a pilot to another airport, and they'll just put it on board another plane. Yeah, it was it's not good. Happens once. Cargo planes crash once in a while. You usually don't hear anything about it on the news. Still find it very interesting. Actually, I should look this up. I should have looked this up before. If AV Herald has more news on this. So which one was it? Must have been this Atlas B367 at Houston. Yep, that's the one. Atlas Boeing 3. By the way, if you don't know about Aviation Herald, avherald.com. Really recommend this site if you're looking at plane accidents and crashes. They have the best reporting. They also have images here. You can see like the prank crashed in an area where there's just like a meter or 50 centimeters of water. So it doesn't look like there's much left over from the plane. Pretty bad. Looks like they don't know what has happened so far. So the NTSB, of course, the National Transport Safety Board in the US, is investigating this. They do have they're saying they do have a surveillance video, because there was a Chambers County Jail is about 1.4 nautical miles from the impact area, showing in the surveillance video showing the aircraft in a steep descent in a steep nose down attitude. The video shows the aircraft for about 5 seconds. There was no distress call. I'll keep an eye on this as well. Pretty tough. Halifa says on the e-scooters, apparently here in Copenhagen, students can earn money for picking them up and charging them. That's a good idea. I mean, students have time. They always need money. I mean, why not? That's not dumb. You could also open that up to everybody, like have a little, there are a lot of people who do this. I mean, there's people who collect like the bottles we have here, just collect bottles that are lying around for the deposit, which is just few euros for tons of bottles. I mean, they could probably have that. That's an idea. Anyway, there have been reports about research on 4G and 5G vulnerabilities that have been discovered, which it doesn't seem to be so major, but I thought I'll talk about it anyway, because it's nonetheless pretty interesting. So what this basically does is send there's like this paging protocol that is like happens before your phone gets a phone call or a text message. It just gets notified that something is coming, and it should wake up probably. And if you do send a lot of those, then the protocol, it's just like the implementation is written as such that will just cause stuff, and you can actually track a phone by that. Like if you do that often enough, it won't notify. So the phone, the owner of the phone won't realize that this is happening. But because it's this information going back and forth, the provider or attacker doing this can track them. And this also, by investigating this, they found another attack where, so on 4G, the IMSI, the International Mobile Subscriber Identity, is encrypted, which is supposed to make it harder for like these Stingray devices, basically when law enforcement sets up a false cell tower, and then your phone connects to that because that is closer. and they can listen into calls and track text messages and stuff. Can lock that and track your phone. That's supposed to make those attacks harder, but it turns out that in 4G and 5G, which this should protect from Stingray and such attacks like that, it turns out that with this attack you can get around that encrypted IMSI number. You can determine it and crack it. So it's basically a stepping stone to like further attacks. It's not something. I mean, it's not something people should probably be hugely worried about at this point, but it's something to keep in mind. These mobile protocols always have vulnerabilities, and the newest ones have them too. Luckily, there is no 5G at the moment, even though everybody keeps saying there is. I was reading a thing from Telecom, I think this was from Mobile World Congress, where they're saying they have 120 cells now operating in Germany. But they're mostly like for like on I think a huge factory area and like a campus at the university. But I mean, it's like this chicken and egg problem right there. Currently there are no devices now. Everybody's bringing out the devices, so it'll happen, but it'll take some time. And that's pretty much it for today. I do have some gaming news at the end of the show. There is, of course, stuff coming in from Mobile World Congress, but most of that is, I find, extremely boring. So don't really want to report on this. I find this gaming stuff much more interesting. If you want, if you find something interesting and you think I should report on it, you can, of course, you can say it in Twitch chat. I'm uploading this to YouTube, so you can give me feedback on YouTube, or maybe just join the Discord, discord.sixgun.org. It's a great community, and just chime in and tell me what I should cover, and I'll consider it. Anyway, some gaming news. First off, GOG, Good Old Games, which is run by Project Red in Poland, which also does the Witcher games. They seem to be in trouble. They are laying off about a dozen employees, apparently because they're feeling pressure. Their sales in February weren't really good. Somebody with knowledge from inside the company says to PC Gamer here. I think this was an ex-employee. They employ about between 50 and 200 people, so 12 employees. Well, it's a bit. It looks like they're under pressure. I mean, from Epic Game Store maybe, which is starting to take off, and then there's always Steam. GOG's selling point has always been that they do not have any DRM, and they have lots of like classic games. Yeah, it's a bit sad, but I guess if you have more stores, you have competition. This is what happens. In other news, I mean the big game currently being talked about everywhere is BioWare's Anthem, a game I have to say from the beginning I was never really interested in. I do not understand why BioWare is doing this. BioWare, known for RPGs with great characters, great character development, until Dragon Age Inquisition and Mass Effect Andromeda, both games that didn't really do that well. They were known for, didn't really do that. I think they made enough money on it, but they weren't like as critically acclaimed as their previous games. They were always known for doing like single player RPGs that had great story, great character writing, some of the best character writing in video games. And I think this started, I can't remember his name, but there was like this guy I used to follow, I do follow on Twitter, who was like one of the main character writers on BioWare and always seemed to be really happy there, and left at some point. I was like, why is he leaving? And like a year later, all this stuff started where they did all the other games. And now Anthem is kind of like, it's a shooter, but it's kind of like it doesn't really have single player elements. It's all just like multiplayer co-op, and it doesn't seem to be so much about the story. This is what They kind of started experimenting with Inquisition, and it doesn't seem to be a really good game. Here I'm looking at a review by Peter Steinlechner of Golem.de, old school gaming journalist from Germany who I've been reading since I was about 14, I guess. Respect him a lot. He has played Anthem, and he says it's kind of soulless, and it's all about like bling. And he says it's a great looking game, but it's like it doesn't like it reads kind of like, if you want to play this kind of game, play Destiny. That's basically what it reads like. It has lots of problems. It doesn't have loot boxes and stuff, but it has like lots of technical problems. People have been reporting massive load times. Same here on a same being said on a review at Rock Paper Shotgun. I mean, it's a full price game, but they say it feels a bit like empty and soulless, and basically exactly the opposite from what BioWare is known for. Like the world building apparently isn't really good. The characters aren't really good, which isn't surprising because this is like a multiplayer game, and I completely do not understand why BioWare is doing this. I mean, I understand why you want an online game and you want a multiplayer game that you build. I mean, I understand the business case for that, but they're just traditionally weren't never good at that. And yeah, it seems like it doesn't. All these reviews read like then they aren't games that you really want to buy. I mean, Peter says in his review in the end, well, it's kind of a game. You can play it. You can play it with people, but like, you wouldn't like. He ends his review with saying like, if you have good friends, you would kind of tell them not to buy this. Not really a game you want to play with your good friends. Yeah, Will says everybody wants a piece of the Fortnite pie. Although this was developed and done a lot. Isn't really competing with Fortnite, and it was developed way before Fortnite took off in its current form. This is more like everybody wants the new WoW, like the new MMO. Like, it's the same thing with the next game we're going to talk about, Fallout 76. It's these companies who build single player games who were really successful, did really good single player games, now feeling like the money is elsewhere. And I don't know. I kind of don't understand them. I kind of do not believe that there isn't still a market for good single player games. And certainly, maybe the market is not as big as the Fortnite market, but then on the other hand, Fortnite is a free game. And I know they make money with hats and stuff, but you still can get people to pay $60 for a good single player game. I mean, Red Dead Redemption has again shown that. So I really don't get this. Speaking of Fallout 76, you gotta kind of respect Bethesda for not just giving up on this shit show, because they're not. They wrote a blog post where they're talking about the roadmap, and the rumors that it seems to be going free to play seem to be completely wrong, because they're saying the exact opposite. They're gonna deploy new content, free content for people throughout the year. Funnily enough, in summer they're gonna have a DLC thing that's called Nuclear Winter, where they're launching that in summer. I've got no fucking clue, but that's what they're doing. And they are kind of admitting. I mean, they're saying, however, we know the game had a difficult launch. And I think, so if you read this critically, with an eye to gaming PR, I think nobody's playing it. They're saying, having millions of you join us, which means millions of players at some point, like over the whole life of the game. And I kind of get that, because this was hyped massively. Lots of people bought it. But I think nobody is playing it, because they're saying, we're thrilled by how much everyone is playing with an average time of 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day on average is huge. I mean, normal players are not playing 4 hours a day. I mean, I play a lot of video games. I'm a freelancer. I could a journalist. I could play video games almost all day, and I can't play 4 hours a day of Fallout. I mean, this means, if this number is correct, this means they have I think a very small hardcore group of players still playing it, and they play it all day. They love it. But then there can't be many, because there can't be many people. I mean, on average, 4 hours a day. On average, that means there are people playing it 8 hours a day or something. I mean, I do not understand how you can get an average number that high with having more than like 30 players or something. And half of them are like the streamers that are still playing it. And they, of course, are playing it 8 hours a day. Wow. Yeah, I think nobody's playing it. But you kind of gotta respect them for keeping it going. But maybe I do hope Bethesda's learned their lesson. I certainly know I'm looking forward to the Outer Wilds. Pretty much on the basis that they're saying that's a single player game, and we're doing a single player game. It's something really old fashioned. I'm sure it's a fact if 100 people play it on average 4 hours a day. So it's like, yeah, I think that's right. That's right. That's real political speech right there. Yeah, that is. I mean, that is an exercise in games PR. And I'm thinking, generally in stuff like that, the facts are right. I should be pointing there. Something like that. The facts are right. It's just that they're very carefully selected. Outer Worlds looks boss as well. I think so as well. I think that I'm done. I'm the biggest Fallout fan there is. I mean, I've got the fucking Pip-Boy in that cupboard right there. I'm done with Fallout for now. Like I'm looking for I'm the Outer Wilds, the game I look forward to. Anyway, let's stop this ranting about video games. I will, as I said, I won't be around tomorrow because I may have to test male vibrators. No, I'm not. It would be a lot more fun than what I'm actually doing. So I'll be back on Thursday with some more tech news, and I hope you have a good Tuesday. Hang in there, and watch out for those e-scooters, and remember, get your insurance, kids. Get your insurance. Goodbye.